All right, let's talk about this reducer. This one was also tricky for some folks for sure. Um, and so we'll go ahead and kind of look at how I went about drawing it, and hopefully that'll help you guys. All right, so let's switch over. So here is the part drawn, and it's actually, you can actually do the whole thing in a small number of sketches. So the whole main thing is the main body can be drawn in roughly one sketch. So this is kind of what I did. I basically drew kind of this side right here, this outside edge right here, all the way down here. And what I did was I made sure that all of these curves, that all, this curve and this line segment, that this was tangent, and that the end of this line segment was tangent with this one. So I made sure to set up all of the constraints so that these were all properly tangent with one another. And I basically put in the majority of the dimensions as well. Because later what I did was I offset that. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to delete a couple of things so I can talk through kind of my process here. So I started out with that, basically. Drew that, got that all set up. And then, let's see. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what I was going to do next. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and offset this. Oh, no, I remember what I was going to do. Okay, I was going to grab the dimension tool. And you'll notice that, that in the drawing, this dimension right here is not horizontal. These leader lines are basically, perpendicular to the surface or to the edge that it's dimensioning, basically. So that's called an aligned dimension, and you would have seen that in a couple of different sections of stuff that we've done so far. Putting in an aligned dimension is a bit tricky. So when you grab your dimension tool and you go to dimension that line right here, it automatically kind of gives you that preview right there of a normal dimension. But if you come in close to that line, it leaves you with a little icon right there. That's the aligned dimension icon. And so if you click it at that point, you get an aligned dimension, which is what we want. Okay, so that's a number one tricky thing. All right, offset. By default, when you click align to offset, it wants to select the entire chain or loop. Depending on which program you're in, you might call it different things. I typically call it a chain, but here in Inventor, they call it a loop select. So if I click loop, oops, hold on. All right, offset. If I click this, it's going to select all of the lines that are chained together, basically. So it's going to want to do this little guy, this little number. We don't want that. We just want to do these inside lines here. So we'll go to offset again, click that, right click, say loop, or uncheck loop select, and then you can go and select each individual line. Oops. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, let's try this again. All right, so offset this and this, this, and enter on your keyboard. and it gives you a little dialog box. We're going to say 0.3, enter, and now you've got your offset of your surface. The other thing you can do is, this you can kind of extend kind of long, and then you can use the extend tool. Extend up there, extend down there, and then you've got your stuff's all set up. And then it might just be a matter of adding a few dimensions to get that back to being fully defined. So I'm sure I'm missing a couple of dimensions in there, but that's roughly the kind of the workflow for putting that together. And then you can close that sketch and it's revolved. And then what I did was I just created a new sketch on that right there. Let's see. Okay. So I drew a circle. Here's my extrusion with that sketch right there. And then what I did was I used an array. So 3D, and then my array tool. Ah, circular over here. Okay. So select the feature, I'm going to select that. Select the rotation axis, I'm going to select that. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to type in 8 and click OK. And then you've got all your holes set up. So, all right, that first sketch is a doozy bit to set up, but once you get there, you should be good. And let me know if I can help.